just wanted to share something real quick. So I'm in the middle of praying right now, and I feel like I'm seeing something like differently. So I'm like, right now I'm in a season in my life where I have really been questioning what's my purpose. And like for a while now in this season, I'm struggling with like feelings of like feeling like my life is meaningless. I feel like I'm really like yearning for like my purpose was my purpose in this season. And while I'm praying for while I'm in the middle of prayer, I'm like, I bet if God didn't bring Eve to Adam like immediately, because I'm assuming that once he made her, right after he made her, I'm assuming he brought her right to Adam. But I'm like, if God didn't bring Eve to Adam right after he made her, I bet Eve would have been asking the same thing. What's my purpose? What's my purpose? And what I'm getting at here, I personally believe that I'm not saying all women, because not all women it may not be God's will for all women to get married. But I do believe that a wife's purpose, who God has destined to get married one day, I believe that a wife's purpose is to help her husband to accomplish the purpose that God has put on his life. When I look at the story of Adam and Eve, God gave purpose to Adam. God had an assignment, purpose that needed to be fulfilled, and then he created man for the job. And then he had purpose first. And I could go into this by itself about the fact that we have purpose, and the fact that being born is not an accident, because Adam's purpose existed before he even did. So that right there is evidence that we have purpose, for people who struggle with feeling like they don't have purpose. But because your purpose exists before you in the first place. So like you wouldn't even be here if you didn't have purpose. But that's a different story. But God had purpose, an assignment that needed to be fulfilled. And then he made a man for the job. So then he created Adam. And then he had another assignment, purpose that needed to be filled, which was Adam needed a helper. That was the assignment. And so then he made another person, a human being, Eve, to fulfill that purpose. So I feel like I'm connecting the dots, and it's starting to make sense why I might be in this season of feeling like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? What's my purpose? And I kind of feel like I'm getting the revelation of, I bet if I met my future husband, I bet my sense of purpose would become a lot clearer to me. And that's why I'm like, if God like made Eve but didn't, bring her right to Adam, but they were just, existing at the same time, but not joined together yet, I bet Eve would be questioning the same thing. What's my purpose? What's my purpose? I believe, and you can believe whatever you want to believe. You don't have to believe my viewpoint, but I believe that the very purpose, the very reason that God created Eve was to help Adam in his purpose. I believe that his wife's entire existence was brought into the world for the sake of helping Adam to accomplish his purpose. I believe that was Eve's purpose, was to help Adam accomplish his purpose. So that's not to say that a wife can't have side things that she's involved in, because if you read Proverbs 31, that woman has, she's involved in side hobbies, interests, and stuff like that. But I do believe that Eve's main purpose of even being brought into the world was to help Adam accomplish his purpose. And so I'm like, that's why I'm like, I wonder if that has something to do with why I feel the way that I feel. And I bet if God, like I can be doing side things in my life right now, like even like YouTube, making content, like all this side stuff. But I believe that my main purpose that I'm like yearning for and searching for, I believe it would become a lot clearer if I were to meet my future husband. Because I believe that my purpose is attached to helping him accomplish his purpose, whatever that is. So, yeah, I just wanted to share that insight. Um, just in case there's anybody else who's like going through the same thing, and maybe you're a woman and you're also kind of in that place of like, what's my purpose, and you're also feel like God may be calling you to marriage too one day. Maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe it's also, maybe you're just going through the same thing, and maybe you have the same insight perhaps of like your purpose will become a lot clearer once you are joined with your husband. um yeah, I just wanted to share that. I'm trying to think, was there anything else I wanted to add? um no, I feel like that was it. Oh, and just one small thing I do want to add. uh the only how Eve could have been a helper to Adam, it was essential that Adam was in his own purpose first. Because how would she have been able to help him and his purpose if he wasn't in his purpose? So the fact that Adam needed to be in his purpose first was very important. That needed to happen first. And so just something I like to share with other women, Christian women who are desiring marriage, being a helper, stuff like that. It's so important that something you pay attention to is that I believe, just by going based off the story of Adam and Eve again, that your future husband is going to be, in his purpose, at least aware, like he knows what his purpose is, because how else can you help him and his purpose if he doesn't know what his purpose is? And so, like, how can you even fulfill your role if he doesn't know his role came first? Adam's role came first. His purpose was assigned to him first. And then Eve came along to help him in his role. So it's important that your husband is in his purpose, or at the very least knows his God-given purpose, in order for you to be able to fulfill your purpose as well. So that's just something to look out for. Make sure that if you come across a man who you think may, be your future husband from God, like, look out for that. Is he in purpose? At the very least, does he know his God-given purpose? Because if not, and if you're entertaining somebody who is not concerned about purpose at all, how can you be a helper? How can you accomplish him and his task if he doesn't even know what his own task is? So yeah, make sure you look for that he's in his own purpose first. Because I just personally believe that as a helper, our purpose is attached to his purpose, but he's got to know his purpose first. So yeah,